together. We are here to empower one another. A great leader is joining us tonight to speak to us concerning what it is that what mandate has been placed upon us and how we can leverage on the same and grow together. But before that, I'd like also to play a video or two, and then we begin together. Once you join in, just like Prosper Acho from Tanzania, you are encouraged to just go to the chat, and Amy, I see Amy has done it. Can just introduce yourself, but let me just play this video so that we can all get together, even as we give former people to join the session. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. This is Team Labs Africa in collaboration with the Educators Network, pulling together educators that are transforming the classroom today. All right, something else to mention at this juncture is that this session will be recorded, and in the recording, we will be preparing in case someone else would want to watch the video later on for this empowering session on personal branding and professional practice. So again, go to the chat, introduce yourselves, and now let's have this kind of commercial break as we work together. Thank you.
STEM Labs Africa was founded in the year 2017 with the common mandate of empowering young people and preparing the African continent with digital skills, financial inclusion or financial literacy and entrepreneurship, and environmental sustainability.
We are a non-profit organization that majors on educating students between 6 to 18 years old on the fourth industrial revolution technologies.
We have so many organizations working on STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. But we forget the arts bit of STEM education, hence the STEAM in STEAM labs. And so for us, we believe that creativity is very important, especially in the sciences and when working on innovations and so on.
We focused mainly at the beginning on digital skills, but over time we've been able to add to other members of our vision in terms of environmental sustainability and aspects to do with financial inclusion, because we realize these are core to the business.
Most people think about STEM and STEAM in the matter of coding, technology, and just that. But then it goes beyond that. We're talking about science and astrophysics. We're talking about mathematics. We're talking about arts as well. And arts goes in like, that is humanities, English. It goes in hand with technology and science as well.
We do that by introducing different pathways where kids can just plug in, not just to tinker with tech tools, but to also learn how to solve problems so that they're prepared for using the tech tools once they get to higher levels of education like university and so on.
The problem is that we have not been encompassing these people in our day-to-day educational lives.
Talking about the types of learners, we have those, the reading, the visual, the kinesthetic, and the auditory.
In our STEAM approach, our focus is mainly on the framework that we've adopted, and we call it the 3 Ps of education. We start with problem, where we contextualize our knowledge in the basis of the African challenges. Number 2 is the process. That approach now gives us what we finally call the product, or some people call it the prototype, in the last stage.
We currently have a database of over 4,500 students and at least 900 educators around the country.
The sole goal of STEAM Labs is to inspire, inform, and empower the generations in Africa. First to students, to teachers as a secondary beneficiary, and finally to the community that we serve.
And it's that video that gets us to begin tonight in our discussion today. I would like to request that each and every one of us stays on mute as we interact. Once you're coming, just ensure your mic is off and your video mainly, so that you also save on bandwidth. Tonight, we're going to have an engaging, powerful session with an amazing leader in our community. If you do not know her by now, you can proceed to a site called Conversations with Esther. Conversations with Esther. I'm going to share the link in a moment. And I'm not going to tell you to watch now, but I know very soon you'll be watching what it is that she does. Conversations with Esther. It is an amazing discussion that are gone in that community. And I'll place this on the chat so that later on we can pursue that. Just a moment. Yes, that's the link. You can proceed there. In a moment, I'll be just speaking shortly about who she is and what it is that she does. But first, welcome on board, everyone. It's amazing, everyone, to see you here. I am so glad that amazing educators are joining in. Our discussion today centers on who you are and what's in for you. So I would really encourage that we pull together, we stay on till the end of the session. Yeah, and from there we will be able to grow together. Once again, I request for coordination and proper connection. I'll request that we ensure our mics are off and our cameras off so that we can give ample time to our speaker as she engages us. Something to say about the topic. Let me first of all spotlight our speaker. We say that personal branding and professional etiquette is an important aspect for many, many other professionals. In fact, it is said that that many of the educators, many of the roles that people play, whether it is when those who are doctors, who are lawyers, personal branding is at the heart of everything. But today, we are focusing on ourselves, we, the teachers. Where is our glory? And we are saying, maybe we need to do something about what it is that we do. And so I just want to say it's great. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all for the workshop on personal branding and professional practice. Today, we embark on a journey that is pivotal, not only for our own careers, but also for the students that we guide and inspire every day. And in the world of education, personal branding and etiquette plays an increasingly significant role. As educators, we are not only responsible for imparting knowledge, but also shaping the future of our students. Our actions, both inside and outside the classroom, influence the minds and values of the next generation. And so personal branding, being the heart of showcasing our unique strengths, skills, and values as an educator, continues to make sense in the day-to-day activities of what we do. It's about creating that distinctive identity that
Felix, you're mute. We can't hear you. You muted yourself.
All right. I'm so sorry for that. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished educators and esteemed guests, I'm so sorry for that. Yes, I'm saying that it gives me great pleasure to invite us to our discussion tonight on personal branding and professional etiquette at a time when we are looking at some glory that was lost a little bit around education and our place as teachers and educators. We embark on a journey today that is pivotal, not only for our own careers, but also for students that we guide and inspire every day. This day and age, personal branding and professional etiquette plays an increasingly significant role as educators, and we are not only responsible for imparting knowledge, but also to shape the future of our learners, our world, and what it is that we're going to leave behind. Our actions, therefore, both inside and outside the classroom, influence our the minds and the values of the next generation. At the heart of everything is personal branding, which is the art of showcasing our unique strengths, skills, and values, and for us as educators. And we are going to be looking into that as our speaker will be speaking. Secondly, is the professional etiquette, the cornerstone of our interactions with both with students, colleagues, parents, and community. It involves that maintaining that high standard of conduct, respecting diverse perspectives, and communicating effectively. And today, we are going to engage in that thought-provoking engagement that is going to bring out the best of us. So don't just think about the classroom and don't think about that job today. Think about you influencing and challenging the world. Now, it gives me great pleasure to invite and announce our esteemed guest speaker, Esther. Esther is a certified human resources practitioner. She is a trainer, an author, and a motivational speaker with over 18 years of transformative experience in championing workplace policies, organizational cultures, employee mental well-being. She is renowned for her fearless leadership and unwavering dedication to ethical leadership, earning her accolades and nominations, including being named a trendsetter of the year 2022 by the HR professional body, what we call HRM, for an innovative approach to solving HR and organizational challenges. Esther is a visionary founder of what I just mentioned a few minutes ago, CWE, Conversations with Esther, a dynamic media platform that is reshaping corporate and social discourse, focusing on integrity, excellence, and impact. Notably, she is a passionate advocate for workplace mental health, collaborating with industry leaders to prioritize self-care as a pathway to mental wellness. Through her channel, the CWE, that is Conversations with Esther, she hosts a multitude of life-changing conversations encompassing topics such as organizational cultures, leadership, personal branding, corporate branding, personal finances and investments, entrepreneurship, mental wellness, customer experience, career reinvention, and many more. And for you, the teacher, what is in for you? She has got great insights, which surely will inspire and enlighten us today. So please join me tonight as I welcome Madam Esther Katiba to share her invaluable expertise and experiences. As she takes the podium, I would like to request us that we keep our questions on the chat. If you cannot access the chat, please share them on our WhatsApp groups, and I'll be keen to pick them up from that community and get us connected to hear from her. Welcome, Daktari Esther. We'll call you today a doctor because you're in academia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I hope my screen is up.
Your screen is not, okay, it's loading. Thank you very much.
Loading, right?
It's there.
It's there. So good evening. I feel like I'm speaking to, I am a daughter of a teacher, so I am at home. This is the kind of products you give. So as teachers, kudos, good job. I am your product. So Felix, maybe to kick off, one thing that it may not be on my profile is that I am married 20 years and I have 2 daughters. That is very important as part of this. So I will go straight into an icebreaker. You can just let me know if you can't see my screen. Let me know. But I hope you can see the icebreaker. Felix, I'll keep engaging you, right? Because my screen is fully on. My screen is fully on the presentation. So I want us to do something as we kick off. On the chat, type 2 things about yourself that we do not know. 2 things about yourself that you do not know. And because you're teachers, you wait for the full instructions, just the same way you give instructions to students. 2 things about yourself that we do not know. One is true and the other one is false. So 2 things about you that we don't know. One is true and the other one is false. Now, avoid the obvious. And finally, don't type them separate, type them as one message. So let's go to the chat. 2 things about you that we don't know. One is true, the other one is false. And avoid the obvious, like I am tall, I am, those obvious things, very unique. Then we can sample a few. Let's go to the chat. I'm waiting. Are we there? Felix, keep an eye
Yes,
on the chat for me.
Yes, we waiting for members to contribute. 2 things. One is true, one the other is false. Together, ensure they are together. I see Kenneth is saying, Kenneth Masharia says, I'm a fan of cricket. Then he says, comma, I am a favorite of Cosmos. One is true, one is false. We
So
have.
who can guess? Someone should guess what is true, what is false.
Okay.
Does anyone know Kenneth? Anyone that knows
Kenneth Masharia.
Yes.
Yeah, Kenneth Masharia. Anybody who knows Kenneth Masharia can tell us if he is a fan of cricket or he is a favorite of Cosmos. People need to contribute. So you can reply to Kenneth's chat if you know him. We have another person here. We have Aroso Ben. Carosa has mentioned several things. He says, Mr. Ben says, I'm a certified career counselor and a pastor. So again there, I don't know if those are all true or they are false. Please go to the chat and reply to that. There is always an icon as you move around there. You'll see an opportunity to reply, and also it might give you an opportunity from Esther's guidance if you can speak up and tell us. Maxine, if you know Maxine, she says, I play piano and sing. And number 2, I live in Russia and Putin is my neighbor. Wow, Maxine, I don't know you, but I might know you today from this. I have a friend here called Caroline. Caroline says, I love jackfruit. I don't like crayons. It's the second option, the second suggestion. Let's keep them coming. Please go ahead and reply if you know someone. I have been suspended from Crawford International School, Kenya, and I have 2 dogs. That is Amy. Let's hear what someone says with regards to what Amy says. We have Victoria Moya, and she says, I play soccer. I love purpose. Please reply. I need people to reply. So that's how I know that someone is it's true or false. I play soccer. I love, okay, that is in red. Number 1 from Rachel Mbodia. I think I know Rachel now. I'm going to say this one. I'm not in education and I am left-handed. I know that one. I'm going to reply to that one. Okay, someone from the meeting can also just speak. You can
Let's
raise
just
your
have
hand.
1 or 2 speak,
Yes.
then we move into the presentation. We will definitely go into that later, but you can see how diverse we are.
Oh my goodness, someone says I'm a teacher, I love football, bald-headed, and I play soccer. Another one says I play table tennis and I'm a comedian. Another one says I love to sing, I'm shy. This is amazing. This is going crazy, guys. I'm not even trying to scroll down. Okay. Victoria Moya for Nicodemus. Nicodemus says I play guitar. I am a professional baritone. So Victoria replies and says you play guitar. It's true. So the baritone is the one that is not true. Anybody in the meeting can just come out and speak. I can turn on your mic and tell us something. Maybe Carol, you can say something. Amy. All right. I think yes, go ahead, Carol.
Maxine doesn't live in Russia.
Oh.
I don't know if she doesn't live in Russia.
And definitely, Putin is not the neighbor. He's not the neighbor. Back to you, Esther. Thank you, Caroline.
Good, good. Thank you, thank you. And that tells us we are very different. Now we go into branding, and this is a very sometimes we complicate branding, but branding is very easy. Your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Wow. Your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So you need to find out what they said in your absence. You know, most of the time people will say very nice things about you when you're around. You're very good. You know, you're compassionate. You're the best teacher. You're a timekeeper when you're around. But your real personal brand is what they say about you when you're not in the room. Now, brand purpose, personal branding has to do with your why, your brand purpose. Why do you get up in the morning? I know we have teachers in the room and maybe we have other people in the room, but why? Why do you wake up in the morning? What pushes you? What gets you out of bed? What keeps you motivated? You need to find your why. Otherwise, you have no purpose. You just wake up and live the day at a time. I know we are at that stage where everyone is saying it's a day at a time, but you need to really find your brand purpose. The reason why you get up every morning. Secondly, what's your passion? Now, and I love this one about passion because I keep saying passion is what you can do for free. You know, passion is not what you're paid for because you can be paid for a job that you don't like. But passion is what you can do for free and what you wouldn't watch go wrong. Look for that one thing that you can't watch going wrong. And I've had people say, I don't like corruption. I can't watch things go wrong. I can't watch someone bribe. I can't watch maybe someone make bad food. You know, I'll step in and do it. That which you can't watch go wrong, that makes you very uncomfortable and unsettled, that which upsets you and that which you can do for free. I've had people say, you know, I can do counseling for free. I mean, I will give my full day. I will give my time for this. That is where your passion is. Look for your passion. Look for your passion. Number 3, personal values. Now, we all work for, mostly, maybe not all, we work for different organizations. And I would like you to go back to your chat. I will not read that now. Maybe we can check that later. But I want you to go into the chat box and type 1 or 2 values of your organization, the organization that you work for. Now, organizations brand themselves, number 1, through values. You know, there are those that they call core values. We are professional, we have integrity, we have this. It's unfortunate that I've been to organizations where leaders in the organization, including HR and including supervisors and managers, that don't know the organizational values. Just go to the chat and type in your organizational values. If you know any of them, Rachel says integrity and diversity. I'm waiting to see what pops up on my screen. Respect and responsibility, that's for the organization, yes. Let's keep them coming, keep typing, but I'm heading somewhere because I'm going to talk to you deeply and I'm very passionate about personal values because your values are your brand. What you value is your brand. Now, I personally have 3 values. I am driven by 3 values: integrity, excellence, and impact. That crispy and short: integrity, excellence, and impact. If it has no integrity, I am out. If it has no excellence, I am out. If it has no impact, I am out. It doesn't matter to me how much it pays or how much publicity it brings my way. If it has no integrity, excellence, and impact, I am out. And I want to ask a question: how many of us in this call have their personal values? Because most of us operate organizational values, but we do not have personal values. But just by going to the chat, it is okay not to have, it is okay. And I encourage people, it is okay to start somewhere. If you don't have your personal values, it is time for you to build them. How many of us just say yes or no? It is okay to say no. I also didn't have them from the start, but I discovered that for me to position myself as a brand, I need to know what I stand for. I like that. Rachel says yes to personal values. And not just having them in your mind, are they written? Does anybody else know about your values? Because people will treat you the way you carry yourself. Now, on this call, I see we are 68. Right now, if I was to get any business or any connection with any of you, because I have laid down my values, you would need to check on them. It is okay not to have them, because after this, you will go and write them down. Think through, because your personal values, also known to my network, that is good. That is good. Your personal values will tell you where to go, what company to keep, what kind of jobs to take, which places to go and not to go. Your personal values will determine how you live your life, how you carry yourself, how you talk, how you dress, you know? So it is important that besides having and driving organizational values, that you have your own values. And I encourage that don't have more than 5. And the best for me, I keep saying, is 3. Don't have a list of values that you can't even remember. So those that don't have values, personal values, it doesn't mean that there's a way you carry yourself, there's a way you live your life, but sometimes we haven't written down our values. Write them down and make them known to your networks. Let them know that Rachel, Felix, Joel, and somebody else stands for this. So that when there's an assignment that has no integrity, you hear people say, don't give that to Rachel, she will not do it. It's because they study you. They know who you are. So make it known to the people you hang around with, including your family members. My family knows that there are things I would not engage myself in. So if they want to do it and it's against my values, they will not call me for it. So be clear on what your personal values are. From today, that should really form part of your brand. And you, as you listen to Felix, my values are actually carried into my organization because I drive the brand. So my values are shared with the organizational values. That is my choice. You can have different values for yourself and others for the organization. And it also depends on what you do and what the business does and what you want to do yourself. So make sure that you have personal values and conduct yourself within those values. Carry yourself, whatever you do, whatever you find your hands to do, do it within your personal values. The next one is brand value. What are your unique strengths? If I asked any of you, we will stay on the chat so that those who are on the call and they need to make some dinner will not go away. So we will keep chatting there. Your brand value, what are your unique strengths? I want you to type just one strength that you know is unique for you. Your unique skills, your strength, persistence. Rachel is a very active student. Today, your students, even if your teachers on the other side, patience, reliable, wow, that is a bold one. Public speaking, yes. So your brand is engraved on your strength. You will find your purpose, your passion, your values are connected to your skills and your strength. Because that is when people begin to tell you, and I've had people say, you know, people tell me that I am patient, or people tell me that I'm very compassionate. So then you will find that somehow your brand is coiled or coined within your values, your strength and skills, your passion, and your purpose. So make sure that you are also aware, and not just everybody else is aware of your strength, but you're also aware of your strength. You know, sometimes people don't even know what their strength is. I've had people ask others, what do you think is my strength? For me, I personally think you are the right person to define your strengths, because you know internally what strains you and what you can easily deliver. The next one is tangibles, logos, your color, your design, your lifestyle. You've heard people say this is somebody's style of dressing, this is how they do things, this is how they make their hair, you know, this is their color. I've seen a lot of explanations on if you love red, this is the kind of a person you are. I am definitely black, gray, navy blue, maybe because of my profession. I am actually, FYI, Felix, I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya on the other side. So that also defines who you are. And people will look at you and can define you with your logos and the others. So make sure that when you're branding yourself, you have something like a logo, and especially like you can see on the screen, there's a logo there, EK. Anytime you see that logo, you will know this is Esther. So if you want to brand yourself, make sure that you put a logo on yourself, a color, a design, and something. Now, story. I want to talk about this because all of a sudden teachers on social media, they're becoming big, Felix. The educators have come into social media a lot. Now, be careful what story you are telling on social media. Be very, very careful what story you are telling on social media. What you post, the language you use, you know, the images you post, because I have seen people pour out their emotions on social media. Now, the best that social media can give back to you is either ridicule or laughter, or people will just discuss you. And the next time they see you, they'll say, you remember that post? Do you remember the post that said this and this? This is the person behind the post. Now, you've built a brand by what you send, including your status. And I know the teachers are listening and saying, oh, you're telling us, including what you put on your status.
Amazing. Esther.
Yes.
Thank you very much for speaking about those matters. Simple things. Practice every day, including the status. I wanted to just restate that point. It's very important. Yes. Thank you.
Good. So including what you put on your status is very important. Your profile photo speaks a lot. You know, I've seen people post something and I can clearly tell that you're going through a hard time. But I can't help you anyway. I don't know you sometimes, but I will put that as your brand. You see, people that complain every time on social media, I will put that as a brand. When I see your image appear on social media, I will know this one has just negative vibes. I shouldn't even read. Or this one is a negative person. So be very careful of the story you're telling on social media. Now, social media is very, very good. Very good. Some of us are big on social media, but I'm very careful on what I post. I will sit, actually what I do to share my story is before I can even post, even on my LinkedIn, and I think I need to go to the next slide because I had put in my social media pages. If you allow me put this,
Yes,
you can see
proceed.
that.
Yes, yes.
I just want to put this. Because how you brand yourself on social media matters. I want to put what? I think this is a good one. Let's put this one.
Maybe yes, Esther, you continue to do that. Maybe I can just say something to my colleagues. You know,
Yes.
social media, you know, big time, big time. You know, there is this discussion that happens within our continent where, you know, people are making money from social media. Others are making very cranky jokes on social media. Others are just replying to politicians, you know, in a very uncanny way. Others are praising some politicians. Um, Someone used to ask me, whatever you are posting, will you be okay if your son or your daughter sees this 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now? Will you be comfortable? And I got myself when I was looking for a visa to go to the US, and I was saying very funny things. Then there was a clause which said, if you have to share your content, your information about your social media platforms. And if there is anything I said, you know, that could hamper me up, prevent me from getting access to certain resources, like now that opportunity that I got, you know, I had to think. So I had to skim through my socials and to see what is it that I've been saying and what have I been, what are the rebuttals that I'm engaging everyone on, because it's your digital footprint. It sticks with you. It's your brand. Amazing. Esther,
Yes.
back to you.
And thank you for that, because I'll tell you something. From a HR perspective, we do a lot of background checks, and background checks include your social media spaces, because we can look at your certificates and everything, but your character and the real you, the real brand, will come out on your social media. So we visit your social media spaces, and we want to see your language. We want to see the things you post. We want to see what you stand for. Does it align with who we are as an organization? So I keep giving this example of a gentleman that came to my office because I'm a HR consultant. And we were recruiting for a certain company. He went through the interview, and at the last stage, somehow it was this political time, this election period, not this one, some years ago. And for some reason, I just asked him, do you have a Facebook account? And he said, yes. I was online, so it was just a conversation in the office. And I asked, so what's the name? And I opened. The first thing I saw was terrible insults, terrible tribal insults. That cost him that job, because I wasn't willing to give my client someone with that kind of a brand, because he was going to take that negativity into the organization. So we look at who you are. We look at your social media spaces. There are people who are just scared that people will log into their social media spaces. Now, that is my LinkedIn account. I have 52,000 followers that I speak to every day. Now, your social media space speaks to local, international people, people that will look for you. Now, when we are looking for people to employ, we go into your social media space. So if I come down to your social media space, I want to see what kind of content you post, what kind of language you speak. So be very careful on what you say on social media. And I prefer to go to the next slide. Now, brand positioning, as we have said, and as Felix has also said, clean up your social media. I tell people all is not lost. You might have posted something that is not good. And as he said, someone asked the other day also, and I had the same conversation. Will you be happy? The things I see some people post, would you be happy if your social media page is played in your house, in the presence of your children and your guests? If people went through it. So if you're not, and there are things that you would not want to see, then go clean up your social media accounts. Don't jeopardize your reputation. Your reputation is your brand. Your reputation is your brand. Now, if you have a website, it will be very good. Make yourself visible as a brand. Your profile presence, I don't know where you are. You could be on Facebook. I would encourage you as a professional to be on LinkedIn, because that is where we look for professionals. We don't look for professionals in Facebook any longer. There are jokes around the Facebook is a dating site. So you can choose to stay there. But for professional purposes, go to your LinkedIn account and build a good account. Be seen, be heard. Now, if you're not speaking in a meeting room, and I've said there, never leave a meeting without saying a thing, even if you will say hello in your organization, because it is your brand. People will say, you know that, but, and you've seen those embarrassments even on TV, when Kenyans begin to say, we elected this person. He goes into meetings and doesn't talk, you know? So it is your brand. You know, that is a brand. We're actually saying that unproductive person, that person that doesn't say anything, that person we chose to represent us that doesn't talk. So be seen and be heard, but be careful what you say. Network. Position yourself as a brand through networking. I'll talk about networking briefly in the next few slides. Your logo, your brand will speak a lot about you. Define your audience. Speak to their needs. Now, you can't speak to everybody. So don't spread yourself too thin that you want to speak to everybody. Define who your audience is. When I speak on workplace matters and mental health, I speak to mental health in the workplace. And I allow somebody else to speak to mental health in the homes and in other places. So define your audience so that when people are looking for somebody, they will pick, you see that image on the side? They just picked a brand. When people are looking for a counselor, they will not think about anyone else. They must think of Felix. If they're looking for a motivational speaker, they will look for Esther. I mean, your name must appear in the room. If it doesn't, you have no brand. Be consistent in what you do. Don't be the people that open a Facebook or a LinkedIn account, or people that are talking to other people and doing something, but it is once in a year. I had some people just the other day say, the last time I checked my LinkedIn was, I think, a year ago. So be consistent in what you do. Be relevant in your content, because that is how you build your brand. Be relevant, be consistent, do your research. Please don't post anything or share anything if you've not done proper research. Be prepared, keep them yearning for more. I know we have 10 minutes, I see that. I want to read this on quotes, on networking. Your network, the one who walks with the wise will become wise, but a companion of fools will suffer harm. You've seen that a lot. Your network is your net worth. That is said everywhere. Look at the next one. Everyone you ever meet knows something you don't. So do not underestimate anyone. Network, build your brand through networking. Anyone you meet, even if it is the security person, they know something you don't know. Pulling a good network together takes effort, sincerity, and time. So to build your brand, you must invest your time. Invest in relationships. Everything you want in life is a relationship away. Every friend starts out as a stranger. Courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. Present yourself as a brand. Networking is a lot like nutrition and fitness. We know what to do. The hard part is making it a top priority. So networking to build your brand is like nutrition and fitness. We know what to do. We're actually talking about it today. Now, the hard part is for you after this to make it a priority. Networking is an enrichment program, not an entitlement program. Why network? Build long-term professional relationships, tap into business, job opportunities, and grow your brand. When you go for networking events, and I have said this a million times in different forums, when you only go for networking events that add value to you, don't go for events just to post photos and to be seen. Go for events that add value to you as a brand. Exchange ideas when you're there, best practice, and build your confidence. Felix, I think, I don't know. Let me try in the next few minutes.
Esther.
Yes.
Calm down. I think we're going to give you a few more minutes. You are saying very serious things we don't want to miss out. And these are educators. We don't just want to get a job. We want to also grow. Yes. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, then. With that, fine. Now, networking skills. Let me talk about this one. When you're going to build your brand, your communication skills are very important. And communication is not just grouping your words. It is the message, it is in the tone, it is in how you phrase it, it is when you say it, how you say it, to who. You need to be very careful of what you say, how you say it, when you say it, to who, think about your communication, because your communication forms your brand. How you communicate, people will say, call that person, she is articulate. Call this person. I saw someone saying that public speaking is part of their strength, Now, active listening. Teachers, active listening. And I keep saying we have a problem ourselves as lawyers, that we listen to respond sometimes. Active listening is when you listen to understand and not to respond. So learn to listen to understand. Now, emailing skills. These are skills you need to develop because they also form part of your brand. How you respond to your emails, the language, what you say. Learn to be short, precise, maintain respect in your emails. The language you use, you see, we keep saying in the professional field, and I am glad you're professionals, I've seen people that will just respond to an email, just the body with no salutation and with no sign off. And you're writing to your boss because it forms a brand. Now, your boss will keep defining you as that lady or that man that writes emails with no salutation and with no sign off. They may not be saying that's how they've branded you, but they're simply saying you are unprofessional in the way you respond. So be careful, take your time. When you're writing an email, and as I was saying, when I'm posting something on social media, I write it and then I take the seat of the reader the recipient on the other side. I read it twice or thrice and look for loopholes that people could decide to think something different. You know, you can send something and you meant good and it's turned around. So what I do is, even in an email, I will write the email and then take the seat, leave the seat of the sender and go to the seat of the recipient and read it from that position. So if I'm sending it to my boss, I will read it from that perspective and see, is this respectful? Is this good? Is it sending the message? Am I shortchanging myself? You know, so learn to do that when you're sending your emails. Your expressions and body language. When people say now that person is arrogant, I mean, arrogance is not tangible. Sometimes it's how you express yourself. So be careful, because that's your brand. Your mindset, your attitude. Your mind is the seat of success or failure. Your mind is a powerful tool. It is the seat of success or failure. Then manage the attitude that you have in life. Now, understand another person's emotions when you're networking, see what they're trying to say. There's someone definitely who talked about the public speaking skills. Felix, anything you want to add there before I go into the last part of this?
I think you really you went thorough on that very well. And it's just for us. So I just want to say something I normally see a lot among educators. So you see, when an email is written by maybe HOD or Dean of Academic Programs or Dean of Studies, or just written by a leader in the school, or is written just by a junior or someone who is just leading a department saying my students will be away this weekend. And then you go to the email and reply and say, you go. Yeah. So you go and, you know, in the reply, and you reply all and say noted. To all you say noted. You know, it has its own, you know, the way there is a way we see you. I like to say that if you're replying to an email, ensure you're replying, if it's to the one person, you reply to that one person. Otherwise, when you say noted, so what have you told me, who is just also, you know, who is, I could say noted to Esther, if Esther is the one who was sending, saying that students will be away, or this week we are focusing on this, or we ensure when children are on duty, they are looking into, I can reply to him. But when you reply to 47 of us, sometimes doesn't look very good on you. Secondly, I've been accused, you know, the way I am, just how I am right now. So I've been accused by one of my leaders over time that, Mr. Felix, your emails are a bit casual. You're just talking and I'm saying serious things to you. And that's another thing. So that's one area I like to confess these things, because it's important and we are all growing. I've been told you're a bit casual, so I'm your leader still. So even when you write an email, it is heavier than when you say words, because it is text, and text can be misinterpreted a lot. So it's important that when you look into the email etiquette, which is another topic and look into, we are very keen on the wording and the replies. You can lose a job just because someone said, instead of saying, dear sir, he said, dead sir. That's a mistake. Read, like Esther, write the email and read it again, especially when you're looking at your etiquette as I want to address your leaders. Thank you.
Beautiful. And I like that. You see this well-noted thing. Sometimes people haven't read that email. I have seen that a lot. It's like you're bothering me, you know, because some content in the email sometimes is something you need to explain. So when you tell me well noted, I'm really wondering whether you read Some people don't read, they just say well noted. And then you get into a meeting and someone says, but I sent you a detailed email. You said well noted. So did you action? You know? So you don't have to feel the pressure of responding to an email if you don't have the time to read it in details. Wait until you have time to read it, and then choose your words depending on the person that you're responding to. Now, I tell people, understand your team members, understand your boss and the language they want used, understand your colleagues, and even if your boss is very jovial, friendly, be careful not to get too familiar with your boss. I was speaking to a team just, I think 2 days or 3 days ago at the Laikipia University, and I said, even if your boss sends you an emoji, you see this social media thing, if your boss sends you a thumbs up emoji, be careful. Don't be tempted to send back an emoji. Yeah, I like that, Felix. Don't be tempted, because I have seen people, your boss is so casual, so good. They will send you an emoji and clap, and then you also decide to send a dancing emoji. You're losing your credibility. You're becoming too familiar, you know? And unless it is an emergency, don't call your boss or text your boss in the night. Fortunately or unfortunately, your boss can do that. But don't be too familiar with your leaders that you start sending them emails and messages in the middle of the night, unless it is an emergency. That familiarity will bring contempt. The next thing you get into a meeting and the boss will blast you, it's because of those emails and those messages that you keep sending in the night. So be careful how you conduct yourself. I think that's a whole different conversation. Now, professional etiquette for educators. And I decided to put this there, and I said, this is a self-cleaning kitchen. Clean up after yourself, you know. It is time to clean up our etiquettes. It's very simple. The same things we tell children in class are the same things that we actually need to sit on the other side and receive. So definition to me, professional etiquettes is an unwritten code of conduct. Most of them are not written. Rules that attract respect and opportunities. So how you conduct yourself can attract respect for you and opportunities. Basic things. Good manners never go out of style. If you take nothing else from here, just know that good manners never go out of style. So, number one, first impression matters. Appearance, your attitude, your energy, your passion. If you get into an organization, let's say you've been hired as a teacher in an institution, the first impression, because you hear people 10 years down the road saying, oh, Felix, hi, you're the gentleman that came in a red tie on the first day, 10 years down the road. Oh, you're the one who said hi to us, and you're very jovial, you were very passionate, you had so much energy, because the first impression matters. So if you're going into an organization or going into a meeting, remember that that will stick. The impression that you give will stick. Number two, when you're meeting people, self-introduction is key. Don't assume that everybody knows you, and preferably use your two names. They look very simple things, but things that we keep forgetting day in, day out. Focus on your posture. Display confidence and not fear or uncertainty. How you position yourself when you're talking to people and even talking to your students. You know, the students can actually define you very well. Just like in the office, people can tell you, ah, no, that one, just leave him. Even the way that he walks, he looks like a fearful leader. There's another one that walks with confidence, and they know that your yes is a yes and your no is a no. You don't even need to shout. You are firm but friendly. Learn to say thank you. Sometimes we get to a level that we are high even higher than the children and the people we take care of, and we forget the basics, the good manners that never go out of style is like sorry, thank you, those simple words. Now polish your communication skills. Be intentional about polishing your communication skills. Be intentional about polishing your other skills, your maybe what other skills do you have? Conflict resolution skills, counseling skills, because teachers have all of a sudden become counselors. Mind your dressing. There was no better way to put it. I kept changing this statement, but this I have to say it as it is. Mind your dressing. Dress to be addressed. Dress the way you want us to address you, and dress the way you want the students and the people that you encounter every day to address you. There are days you come in a suit and you hear people say, "Good morning, sir." There are days you come in a different look and they're like, "A mambo." Sometimes it has to do with how you're dressed and how you carry yourself. Social media, I said it already, so we will not go back into that. Now, I have seen people that are very casual in how, if you must shake hands, you don't have to. If you must, give a firm handshake. We keep repeating this in organizations. If you insist that you must shake hands, then give a firm handshake, look straight in the eye, 3 to 4 seconds, smile, and then take your hand away. I think you need to, this is very straightforward, straight in the eye, because it is an art of communication. Some etiquettes, you're saying hi to me or you're saying hello to somebody, but your eyes are looking at something else, and the person feels ignored. You feel like it's a by the way. Be very careful the brand you carry, it's that person that never pays attention to people. It's that person that will shake your hand, facing the other way. It's that person that never does 1, 2, 3. Now, avoid gossip. It sounds, and the men in the room will say this is women. No, it has become now, it's everybody else. But avoid gossip. It is okay to keep quiet, if I may say it that way. It is okay to keep quiet, because what you entertain, what you entertain is what you will also become. So don't be that brand that people talk about, the gossiper. That's a brand. We don't think some of these things people say about us are a brand. Now, mealtime, table manners, and during meetings. I saw someone post something on LinkedIn the other day and said, when you go in for an interview and they say, feel at home, and then you decide to just jump on everything. You're filling your cup, you're eating everything in a meeting room. You be very careful. That's your brand. That's your brand. And someone said, there's a scripture, I am a believer, there's a Bible scripture that says, please eat at home first before you come for the Holy Communion. It's on a very light note, So if you have a weakness, manage your appetite before you go into a meeting. Always speak to yourself and say, this is my brand. Whatever I do in this meeting, whatever I do in public spaces. I once went for a wedding, I think that must have been more than 10 years ago, and I saw someone pile a plate of food, put in fruits on top, take the juice, and we had some guys who had a camera, and the first thing those guys did, picked their camera, zoomed to the person. I've never forgotten that image. When I see that person, because I still see them, that is what comes to my mind. I remember what I saw, because that is a brand. That is the impression they give. So how you conduct yourself will affect who you are. Now, phone etiquette. Phone etiquette, how you answer calls, including the tone. Your ringtone says a lot about you as a brand. You know, the volume, funny things on your phone. They will say your screensaver, whatever you have on your phone, says about a lot about you as a brand. You know, you've seen for phones, screensavers of phones that you can't look at twice. It is an embarrassment. I mean, it is a nude photo and you're thinking, you look at the photo and you look at the owner of the photo. You look at the photo again, you look at the owner of that photo, of the phone. Because you're trying to match the two. And what is going through your mind is that you're branding this person. You know, the next time you're talking about them, remember our first statement is your brand, is what people say when you about you when you're not in the room. The next time he's not in the room, you'll be telling someone, what? The phone, what you see in this person's phone. Most of the people here have passwords in their phones. Well, that's your personal item, but just be careful the way you answer your calls, the language you use, what you have on your phone is your brand. We may not see exactly what it is because it's your personal item, but that is your brand. Now, mind your language. Do not be careless with your words. Your words are your brand. Filter your speech. You've had people who are told, this one has no filter. Just be careful. This one has no filter. They're not saying much, but they're just simply saying, that is a brand. The person who is about to talk has no filter. That's a brand in itself. You say Esther has no filter. That is a brand. Choose your words and think before you speak. Think. Don't be quick to speak, you know. And then I put in a scripture there, with all due respect to other religions in the room, but I put a scripture there that says, you know, be quick, be slow to anger, and don't be quick again to speak. I keep saying you better be slow to speak. You better be that person that thinks and thinks and thinks before they speak. But when they speak, they protect their brand. And when they speak, they filter their speech. So mind your language. Mind your language, it is your brand. Now avoid distracting behavior. There are people who will never allow someone else to finish what they're saying, talking. People are talking. It's part of etiquette, you know. People just come in between a conversation. Yes, someone is talking. Okay, I can go on. So avoid that habit where you distract people. You know, people are in a conversation and you just come right in. It's an etiquette conversation. You just come straight in and begin to bring in your agenda, and everyone is wondering, really, where are the manners right here, you know? So even in the staff room or in the boardrooms where you are, you know, time management has a lot to say about you. There are people that have branded, and I know them too well, that when this person tells me we are meeting at 7, I know it's 9. It's a brand. I know them. They never keep time. That's a brand. So whenever they set a meeting, I will tell other people, that meeting was set by so and so. Just be careful. They never keep time. That's a brand. It's etiquette. Respect people's time, respect resources, respect other people. And on a light note, I think Joel, Joel will say today, just a minute, sorry, let me just manage that in a minute.
Yeah, Esther, they are speaking with regards to time. We are 15 minutes past 9. This discussion is very interesting. We like to apologize on that point that we extending, and we are constantly feeling like we need to come back and talk to the members so that we can see if we should be extending our sessions, because every time we have a session like this one, it's so intense, it's so amazing. It's like We have never done this, and sometimes if it's stretched with an extra hour, now it's 15 minutes past. We just want to apologize for that, and we want to keep the brand clean.
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
and
yes. Yeah.
Mr. Nicodemus and Bill Clinton, we are very sorry for that. But then let's stay on and listen a little bit so that we can take
Yeah.
something away. Thank you, Esther.
Yeah, but at least Felix, you had the courtesy, you had asked for that before, so we salute you. But I'm almost done actually. I'm finishing. So time management and all that we've talked about it. Now respect a closed door. It's etiquette. If you go somewhere and find the door is closed and people are in a conversation, it is okay for you. Maybe if you didn't know to open the door and say, I'm sorry, I will wait, and then leave. But not open the door and see people are in a conversation and come and sit and wait inside. I don't think I need to say a lot about that. Now, respect other people's opinion. There are people that think they are always right. So respect and give people that. Now, I would do myself a disservice if I have a conversation with anybody, and especially you, teachers, without talking about mental health, because I am a mental health advocate. I do a lot of mental health conversations in schools. I speak to the teachers separate and I speak to the students. And it's because I know our workplace, the school is your workplace, your house is a workplace, because if someone works there, they consider that as a workplace. Your shamba or garden is a workplace because you could have people working there. Now, when you go to your schools, and the reason I've put in this is because it is for the youth. Now, according to World Health Organization, globally, 1 in 7 10 to 19-year-olds experience a mental disorder, accounting for 13% of the global burden of disease in this age group. 1 in 7. So when you go to your class on Monday, 1 in 7, count one student, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One of those, in those 7, 10 to 19-year-old, they experience a mental disorder. Now, depression, anxiety, and behavioral disorders are among the leading causes of illness and disability among adolescents. Children are going through depression, and that's why it's very important for you as the leader and the role model, because as the educator, as the teacher, you're a role model. Now, when the children come to you in school, they come to you as a parent, they come to you as a role model, and you need to carry yourself as a person that is worth respect and a person that they can trust. So if they're coming from homes where things are not functioning, you should be the best person to deal with what they are going through. Maybe even just talking to them. Now, depression and anxiety and behavioral disorders are among the leading causes of illness and disability among adolescents. Now look at this one. This is where I would really want you, so that as you carry yourself as teachers, whatever you say, that's why I said mind your language. Suicide is the 4th leading cause of death among 15 to 29-year-olds. Suicide. Now, when you are the leader and the role model and you're negative, your attitude and your mindset and your conduct is bad, that child 15 to 29-year-old that would want to confide in you may not trust you as a brand. They may not trust you as a role model. They may not open up to you, because it is an environment that we create. It is in the leadership, and I say that leaders, and we are all leaders in this call, leaders must set the culture in an organization, where an organization can be your school. Set the culture and the environment where people can speak without fear of stigmatization, of fear of being maybe accused of different things. The consequences of failing to address adolescent mental health conditions extend to childhood, impairing both physical and mental health and limiting opportunities to lead fulfilling lives as adults. So as leaders, again, I say, Let us conduct ourselves in the best way. Brand yourself, have your values, network with people, have the right etiquette, and you will command respect wherever you go. Asante sana, Felix.
Great. That's Esther, an advocate of the High Court, HR practitioner, many hearts, great wisdom flowing and oozing, like we always joke in our communities, from a believer who has set out to transform generations. Members, we at exactly 9:20. She has spent her time very well, speaking every point carefully and clearly to all of us. I'd like to just pick 2 or 3 questions so that we can hear what it is that members are giving us feedback. I have 2 people raising their hands at the moment. Someone says about the slides. Something about the slides, by the way. I just want to say this because it has been back to back to me. Brand, guys, brand. I will not share my slides because that's my brand. I'm sorry I'm saying that. I know the TSC has a way of sharing every slide they do.
Maybe, Felix, what I would say to help you is
Yes.
because it's recorded, I think it's always an easier way to go and watch what has been shared. Because we've shared the slides there, that helps them keep watching. Yes.
Amazing. Yes. Again, you, as just to support Esther's assertions and statements, you need to be able to protect your brand. Protecting it also is important. Part of that is not sharing the slides, but releasing every content. As I pick up the 4 questions that I see here, I would like to, I don't know if you can hear me well, Esther? Yes. So I like to request that members, I like to just say this. I'll pick the questions, but then I'll say this. I like to say that all our speakers that you normally see, from Max Pavel to Esther to the school leaders, Mrs. Kariuki, Mr. Kahindimuli, all these people do this work from their heart, and they have not been paid for this yet. This is their practitioner work, like what you say, their brand. I'm going to be asking us to start thinking about something. But before that, let's pick our few questions as you think about it. I'll start with Madam Margaret Chemuku. You can come off mute and say a word.
Hi, Felix. How are you? Hi, Miss Esther. Thank you so much for this session. It is actually an eye-opener. I really appreciate. There are so many mistakes we have been making. Little did we know it was actually affecting our brand. So I do really appreciate. Now, there is this issue of, you said we should, we should make maintain a professional distance, especially to someone like a leader. But again, I feel like if you make that again so much distant, again, it will bring about a barrier in between you and maybe your staff. So how best can you go about this so that you, as much as you are maintaining a professional distance, there is also that respect and that is maintained, and also there's no barrier being erected between you and maybe your junior staff, so that they can be able to come to you, they can be able to be able to reach you. When I say reach you, I mean that connection between you and your staff. Kindly, if you can elaborate on that, I would really appreciate. Thank you so much.
Good. I'll respond to that very sharply and say, I think the question we need to ask ourselves is, how far is too far? How far is too far? Talking to your people, going for lunch with them, having conversations with them is fine. But there are conversations that we know would rob you of the respect. It doesn't mean don't talk to them. If you find me, you will find me with my team having a meal, joking. We will do it, but then you need to. That's why I said mind your language. You know, it's just about knowing the limits. How far is too far in the jokes? How far is too far in the outings you can go? How far is too far in the parties? You know, you go into a party with your students and then you lose yourself. That's why I said, how far is too far? There's a line that you draw, and that line says, I am the leader, I am the role model. You go for a drink and you lose your head. As a leader, ask yourself, where does this leave me tomorrow? When I need to stamp authority, will what I have done tonight or in this event uh, prevent me from being the leader that I should be? Or how do they look at me after that, after what I have done? Because I've seen people that go for parties and drink, they lose themselves, and the following day, the entire team is talking about the leader. Like, did you see? I mean, from that day, you erode that respect completely. So just know how to draw your line. And if you know you're the kind that loses yourself when you go for the party, please don't go for parties with your juniors. Go for parties with people at your level. I think I'll leave it at that, Felix.
Thank you. So
Yes.
sometime a few years ago, I was trying to lead in a role in church, and it's actually to be a deacon. So in my training, one of the things I was told not to do is that as a deacon, you don't borrow money from your ministry leaders or your younger people, the people that you're leading. Why? Because money has got its own space. And so in the line with that, if you go for a trip with members of your staff, I say, like we normally go to Mombasa, just know that you can't just release yourself because you know your limits. So again, that's not law. That is just, ways of protecting, because when you say contempt, familiarity breeds contempt. It is not all the time when it is going up, not even going down. It's part of that. And so thank you very much, Maggie, for that.
Let me say this one statement. Leaders, even when you're going through a hard time or you want to complain, always remember that you complain upwards, never downwards. Complain upwards, never downwards. Yeah.
Amazing. That's a very good way of putting it out there. So it is not just professional etiquette and personal branding, it's also leadership. And we are all leaders. This friend of mine from Kisii, Ongeri Momanyi, I'll give you the mic. Please speak very quickly. The question is very clear, but I would like you to speak. Mr. Ongeri?
So much, Mr. Felix. I've learned a lot today, more especially on the branding yourself. So I was asking if somebody who had a negative brand or has seen something which has been negative, if it's possible to change. Thank you.
It is possible to redeem yourself. It is possible to redeem yourself. All is not lost. You can always change. And that's why I said, have your values. And sometimes we lose it because we don't have the foundation. We don't have the values. We don't know how to measure, the yardstick of how far I can go in a conversation, how far I can go in a relationship, how far I can go in something. Set your values first and let people begin. There's always that thing, for those who are born again like me, people will say, let's give them 1 week, they'll come back. Let's give them 2 weeks, they'll come back. And then after 10 years, they're like, oh, you mean they were serious? So just know how to measure that, but all is not lost. You can redeem. We all have flaws. We are not perfect, so we keep correcting what we do by the day. So there's hope. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. And this day could be someone's turning point. And I'm very sure Ongeri is a great man. So he was asking for a friend. Thank you very much. Now I go to Maxine. Maxine, go for it. If you're here. Maxine? Oh, my mom is in the meeting. Okay. Maxine, if you can speak, I'll go for Mr. Ben Arotso.
Thank you so much, Mr. Felix and Ms. Esther, for having this session for us. It was such an insightful presentation. Shouts to you, Ms. Esther.
Thank you.
From your definition of personal branding, you said that personal branding is about why you wake up in the morning, that which keeps you motivated. Now, I would also love to hear from you. What about life purpose? If personal branding is about what keeps me awake, say overnight, or what motivates me, what about life purpose? Thank
Purpose.
you. Life purpose.
Yes, and that's why I said your purpose and your brand are connected, right? Because I will tell you, for me, it's to impact. That's why I live. I live for impact, if nothing else, for impact and positive impact for this matter. So it is finding your purpose and branding it, positioning yourself. You see, branding is more of positioning yourself. You know, it's putting yourself in a place of visibility. So you find your purpose, because what do you brand if you don't have a purpose? If you don't know the direction, if you don't have a roadmap, if you don't know where you're going, then what do you brand? Now, when you have big brands like Safaricom, they found the purpose. They are solving a certain problem, and so they branded themselves in that direction. So you cannot, to me, you can't separate your purpose and your branding. So find your purpose and brand it so that people know you for that one thing that you do so well. And that one thing that you do so well is what wakes you up every day. You found your purpose, you wake up for it, you have branded yourself, and you are known for that one thing. People know you for this, and that is it. And it's because you found your purpose. If it's not your purpose, you will keep shifting goals. You will keep shifting. Today you're doing this, tomorrow you're doing this. So you will also keep rebranding. Esther the this today, Esther the another thing today, tomorrow. So your purpose and your brand go hand in hand. Yeah. I hope that answers you. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Ben, for such an awesome question. Esther replying with great wisdom. Elizabeth Keta. Please seems to have dropped. And then finally, the most active student of the day, Rachel Mbodia. Rachel, shine, my sister.
Thank you so much, Felix. Mine is just, I think it's just a comment of feedback. And thank you, Esther, for such a, interactive, very educational session. I am not a teacher. I am not in education. I am in healthcare. But I feel like I'm a teacher to some extent because in my role, I work in the corporate space, but in my role, I'm a clinical trainer. So I guess by that I can say I'm a teacher to some extent. I just wanted to maybe and appreciate the fact that you said, especially when it's with regards to social media. Because it reminded me, today I was talking to an old friend that I bumped into, an old neighbor, and he told me he's been looking for work, been looking for jobs. And one thing I realized, and I told him, because he's been going through interviews and he has contacts, but when I see his WhatsApp status, I mean, that's a brand. So I told him, maybe it's because of what you share. So that was very good insight that came from you. But also, now that you also encourage people to join LinkedIn, I think the only thing, because I'm very active on LinkedIn, and sometimes I see people use LinkedIn the wrong way. It's more like, to them, they use it like Facebook. They just share nothing to do with their professional life. So I think that is what I wanted to add. And maybe to my predecessor, the one who spoke before me, if I could just, if you allow me, maybe you'll agree with me, because he asked a question about brand and purpose.
Purpose, yes.
And I always try to relate. I'll give an example, and I'll use cars that we probably all know. So we have a Mercedes and we have a Toyota Vitz. So they're both cars, Each of them will take you from point A to B, but they serve a different audience. So it's about your target audience. Who do you want to target? So it's about economy for the Vitz, but it's about also luxury for the Mercedes. So that's what's your purpose? Is it the luxury, that kind of a thing? So that's how I relate it. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And I like that bit about the person and the, actually your ringtones. Some ringtones just put people off. Be careful, just be careful. Be careful. It depends on what you're looking for, but be careful what you put there. Yeah.
Thank you, Esther and Rachel. I want to close it at that, but I don't know if Elizabeth was able to speak. Elizabeth Keta, maybe you try to unmute or something.
And I'm just grateful for the presentation. When you called me, my phone was actually charging. So by the time I got it, yeah. But I'm very grateful for the presentation. Thank you so much, Esther. And thank you, Felix, for the moderation. It's beautiful.
Amazing. Leaders, great leaders. But I see Julius is here, Amos is here. Can I pick Amos? Then I conclude with Julius is also going to give vote of thanks. Julius is our great friend. So Amos.
Evening.
Good evening, sir.
Matumani Moura, Manyara, and born a Christian, but I'm a Muslim by the name Atman. I really appreciate for the eye opener, Mr. Felix and Madam Esther. My biggest worry is that we have talked of branding is what people say when you're not in the room. But we find that most of the time, what we get is the negativity, because most of people won't tell you the truth unless when you're in heated debate, that's when they draw your picture. So how can someone brand his name from the people?
How can you brand your name from, how can you make people do what?
How can you said it's what people say when you're out of the room.
Yes.
So how can you tell what they are saying? Because most of the time they give the negative, but when they do something, they talk of the positivity.
Just make sure that you conduct yourself so well, you can never be perfect, that they have something good to say about you. And you've had this common statement when people say that you need to surround yourself with people who mention your name in boardrooms. You know, people who will say something good, people who will say, I think it all comes from how you behave. I don't think unless people are just malicious, someone will talk something negative about you in the room that does not, of course, people are malicious. They can say what they want to say, but carry yourself so well that even if someone went into a room and said something negative, they'll say, but that is not the one I know, you know? So it boils down to how you conduct yourself. Define how you want them to present you. It's just like I said, dress the way you want to be addressed. To conduct yourself the way you want people to brand you. It's you that defines your brand, actually. It's not people that define your brand. It's you that defines your brand.
Amazing. It's about you, not them. Let them see the results. It's like, let me not see that. It's another story altogether. Sammy, your camera is on. I don't know, you might not be aware. If you can just see, you can put off the camera, Mr. Sammy. There was a question that I felt like it's important to address it. Can you build your brand without social media? Someone says, someone asked, this is Caroline, says someone asked about not having social media at all or something like that. What do you say about that?
It's not a must that you must have social media, but I think we must admit that we are in that space where we look for you there. Very many people don't have social media pages, but they're still a brand. However, you might be limited with the number of people you can reach, do that. When you're on LinkedIn, I think someone internationally will find you. So if you're selling a product and you're just selling it in a physical shop, then you can only reach the people that pass by your shop. If you're selling the same product online, somebody may never come to your shop, but they might consume what you sell. So the choice is yours. If you want to cover a bigger market, you can present yourself on social media, but if you don't want to, then you're okay. It's not it's not life and death for you to be on social media. So I think the choice is yours. It's the market that you want to cover and who you want to speak to, who you want to influence. So you choose how to sell your product. Yeah. The other one was what?
I think that's it. You know, the normal thing for us as teachers is that as long as your results, your GCSE or KCSE results sell you, you don't want to get involved in social media. But I like to say that in this day and age, we are also in a different dispensation, especially now that we are moving away from high-stake exams for schools, and your brand needs to go past the grades only, so that you also prepare the students, because the students in our classrooms will be working in a different space. And so you want to model that for them, just like I said from the beginning. Now I have Julius Otundo. You'll see something. If it's a question, you will ask it. And it's the final one. Then I will invite my two leaders, my three leaders to conclude from there. Julius Otundo. Righty. I don't know what happened to Julius Otundo. Yes, Julius. I think you might be trying to get your mic. Go ahead. I know you're trying to do something there. It's part of the branding, guys. Okay, as Julius does that, I want to invite Mr. Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, if you are here, is a colleague. Bill Clinton, if you can just say a word in Thanksgiving, and then after that, we'll have Joel, and then our brother will give the final vote of thanks, Nicodemus Muhati. Bill?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Esther, for that presentation. I feel like you've touched most of the things we really expected to hear. And just to the 74 plus members who have attended the session, let's keep on, let's keep the discussion going. Let's keep on supporting and sharpening each other to grow, of course, in the social media space, in our careers. And with such discussions, we're able to grow to the next level. So thank you so much, Esther. We hope to interact with you even on your LinkedIn profile, on your social media profiles, and even just learning better practices from you. Thank you.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Mr. Julius, we can hear you. Sorry.
How are you? Sorry, I was unmuting, and I think technology sometimes is a challenge. This is the Dr. Otundo, Riara University Dean of Education for School of Education in Riara. And I really want to be very thankful to Esther. I teach teachers and I interact a lot with teachers. And I joined this program because I get a lot of value to know exactly the direction teachers are now taking as we go along. And Esther, you've done a great job. The organizers, I think I'm Felix. This is, I'm humbled because what has been shared here is one of the things we struggle with when we send teachers out there to teach. And I'm one person who follows teachers to very late. My key word to all of us here with what Esther has presented is that what do you want to be called after every 1 year? Let me put it that short. How do you want to be recognized wherever you go? And after some time, even when you retire, would you love to get into a funeral somewhere and everybody is struggling to give you a chair? or you want to get into a funeral somewhere and everyone is struggling even to see who you are because they don't know you, no one appreciates you. So I think personal branding as teachers is very critical, and that is where every one of us have grown from. In regard to media, I think the world has gone the tech way, and so it's important for us just to know how to apply our skills in regard to media and technology, how to grow ourselves. Like me, I'm one of the only persons who has a personal website, and because everything I do is to be taken care of in regard to how best can you identify me in the wider space, not only in Kenya, but beyond. So Esther, you've done a great job. I think this presentation has been awesome. Felix, your moderation has been very good. And even the attendees, teachers, please attend these forums. I'm so impressed with the teachers network because so much is being shared. And how I wish all the teachers come onto this forum, all the educators, not just teachers. And by the way, some of us at faculty, I keep challenging my colleagues and asking them, never ever think that you are not a teacher because you are a lecturer, because you are a professor. Yeah, we are professors where we are. By the end of it all, we are teachers, we are mentors and all that. So thank you guys. I'm impressed. It's been a very good evening, I can say. Thank you, Felix. Thank you, Esther.
Daktari, we are always very grateful to have you on board at all times, keeping the tabs at this time of the hour. Surely you are very interested and very careful about your brand, and we are grateful to have you as you mentor us and as you guide us. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Joel, our technical manager.
Okay, thank you so much, Felix, for the moment. Esther, your work is commendable. Really, you have done your best, and we really appreciate. For me, I think I need some moment to reflect and see if I can fix the looks, if any, in regard to my personal brand. Otherwise, thank you so much, and we are humbled. Thank you, Felix. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Joel is our leader, teacher at Kasidi Primary School in Kilifi, taking leadership from wherever he is. And leadership is not about a title. It's about what you do and personal branding at best through Joel. Mr. Nicodemus Mohati will be our final speaker to just give vote of thanks as we close in for the night. Nicodemus.
Thank you very much, Felix, for that great opportunity. First of all, this has actually been very amazing.
Mr. Mohati might be losing you. Thank you.
Hello.
You are back. We could not hear you for a minute or less.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Esther, I want to actually just say thank you. There are so many, everyone is actually happy. One of the things you can actually see, the positivity and the energy that you have brought to this community of educators. Thank you for agreeing to, for my, when I gave you an invitation and your response was very positive. And of course, it is because of the brand that you sold out there, your name. I mean, we are so happy and we would wish to have more of this with you on board. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Educators Network and much.
And Esther, if you have one word you would say, it's your moment now. Thank you, Nicodemus.
Thank you very much. What do I say? Asanteni sana. Thank you for having me, and let's connect. Let's keep building each other, and you're free to reach out at any time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. From STEAM Labs, from Educator Center, from Educators Network, we are truly grateful for having you and speaking to our hearts and to our minds. And now, fellow members, I would like us to just ensure that we do something for Esther. So what we are going to do for Esther, one of the things we'll do more is we're going to go to the YouTube channel, the 69 of us, and we are all going to subscribe. We're also going to run very quickly to her LinkedIn, and you're going to follow her just to appreciate what she has done. So check on the chat. There is a link about her. That is Conversations with Esther. Please do follow the discussion that she talks about. Secondly, currently sharing the link to her LinkedIn. Please follow her, and if possible, connect with her. She might be the next speaker in your school as you transform your students' lives, colleagues, school leaders, among many others. It has been a great pleasure working with you. And for now, I invite you all of us all, for a photo session before we go to Mama. Thank you. Let's do this final photo. It's always a good time. It's always a photo time. Thank you. Ensure your eyes are open when you're taking the photo. Your nose is coming out, it's part of the brand. Yeah, sit fully on the chair that you're sitting on. It's part of the cortisol control. Is it called cortisol hormone? Yeah, as we wrap up the night. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Remember to follow. They have placed everything on the chat. Now we are in together mode from Joel. This is Joel, our technical manager. He's trying to put us in those amazing seats. Someone is missing a chair. Please turn that camera on and ensure you're sitting fully on the chair, and we can do this photo. All right, if you can't see yourself on the screen, you need to, the count of 3, 2, hi, Bill amekuja mbele yangu. Why are you sitting in front of me, sir? Okay, 3, and a 2, and a 1. You can use that photo as your certificate, I would say. If you can take with your phone, if you can print screen, however you can do that. And with that, we can call it a night. Let's now bow our heads for the final prayer. Our Lord and our Savior, we thank you. Thank you for such an awesome evening this Saturday, used for the glory and honor of your name. We thank you for our network. We thank you for Educator Center. We thank you for STEAM Labs. Thank you, Lord, for the participants, each and every one of them. You know what it is that you want to do with their lives, because we are all here for a purpose. Thank you for our speaker, our guest speaker, Esther. Lord, as she continue to serve you in the very many dimensions, I pray that you walk with her, leading her and guiding her. Thank you for everything that she has spent to get us here and to engage us, speaking with clarity. May you continually increase her and give her utterance whenever she opens her mouth to speak to the souls and men and women as we transform education, not just in Africa, but across the world. Bless your name and we honor you as we go to sleep. Your word says you give good sleep to those whom you love. So we're going to enjoy tonight's sleep. No one of us will be stressed or pressured as to leave their sleep, but to lack their sleep. And so be with us and guide us till we meet in 2 weeks' time by your grace. Thank you, and we honor your name. Amen. 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 Thank you very much. Please do have yourselves a great night.
Amen. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.